Great. Okay, so welcome everybody to the Daily Intimacy. Really nice to be here with all of you once again. And welcome to the people that are here for the first time. Very sweet to have newcomers each week. And really sweet to see familiar faces every week. It's really been a lovely grounding point for me, and I think for all of us, to have this place to connect and really drop in and be real. As I said before, you're welcome however you are, in your pajamas, feeling crappy, feeling teary, feeling joyful. However you are is welcome here. And it's just been incredible to drop in and connect with all of you and with all the amazing presenters we've had each week. It's been more facilitators, presenters, community members. I don't really know what the word is, but there's been a sweet, intense, deep, lovely, heart-opening offering every time with something new to take with us for the week as we traverse this very unique time in humanity. So we will continue with a centering. Just invite you wherever you are to have a breath and gently close your eyes. We did get one person who cannot make it on, who's trying. So, nice deep breath. Yeah, and just relax wherever you are, sitting, lying down, standing up. Just give yourself a moment to turn your gaze back inside. It's morning time, so we've come out into the world, and just a moment to check back in. Breathing a nice deep breath, expanding the belly, opening your heart, and exhale. And we'll do that a couple of times, breathing in. See how much of your torso, of your body, of your energetic space you can fill with the breath, with life. And exhale. And this morning I bring our attention to the earth once again. And let's imagine ourselves sitting together in the woods, in the middle of a forest, with lots of space around us. Maybe a big fire in the center, even though it's morning. And we've come together for a reason, for a purpose, and it's not an accident that we are all here, that these people are here, all of us together in the same space. So I just invite you to breathe into that truth, into that knowing. And notice how that lands in your body this morning. That's somehow your purpose in life, or maybe a window into it, or a spark of your purpose in life somehow shows up and connects here with this group, with this community, with all of us. As you breathe in, relax your shoulders and come to a place of allowing and opening to receive whatever there is to receive together in this particular bubble for the next hour. And once again, a nice deep breath. Gently bringing yourself back to the space that you're in and back to our space. And gently open your eyes when you're ready. And if you're not in Hollywood Squares view, go ahead and do that and just look around. Look at all these people here. It's amazing, beautiful beings. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't said hello in the chat, feel free to do that. And if you would like to share scale of 1 to 10, feel free to do that. How you're doing this morning. It's really good for us to hear. Let's see, Charlie, I did unmute you. Very good. Okay. So, oh, hey, Emily. Hey, Matt. So great.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Hey, Linda and Bill. Good to see all of you. Yeah. Okay. So today, well, I know that each week I'm so excited, and it's because honestly, I've had, to me, like such incredible people come each week. And today is really special for me because we have my friend Charlie Verge, who I've been talking about to you for a week or two, just mentioning that he's coming. And Charlie is a dear friend, and we got to know each other several years ago when I was taking his couple therapy training course for a year and then another year. And as I told him on his birthday last week, I just immediately fell in love with him, and and have learned a lot from him. He fell in love with me, I guess, too. Yeah, we just, I immediately just learned so much, and immediately, no, what I want to say is immediately felt the depth of his being is really the only way to say it. You will hear and feel it immediately as soon as you hear his voice. So I'm going to let Charlie introduce himself a little more. Whatever you want to say about yourself is fine. I'm going to put you on spotlight so I especially can see you. There you are. Yeah, Charlie has just so much richness and depth and spiritual connection and truth and wisdom that he has allowed himself in this lifetime, and I'm truly embraced and shares very humbly, I will say. When I met him, I actually said, "You've got to write a book." And he was like, "I'm not going to write a book." So anyway, I'm grateful that you're here, and yeah, look forward to co-creating this space with you.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? So first of all, yeah, you're shaking your heads, yes, so that's good. I am not a tech person. Robin is my tech guru, and there's been sometimes late at night where I text her to, what do I do when this happens, and so forth. So if anything technologically isn't working here, please give me feedback and Robin will fix it.
Yes, I will. Also, I want to just say before you begin, and also so Charlie knows, that this is participatory, as you all know, but some of you are here for the first time. So please put comments in the chat box, questions in the chat box. I will like raise my hand to you, Charlie, if there's a question I want you to address and that kind of thing. So we'll just keep it.
Okay, so you're tracking the chat box for?
I will chat the chat box for you and us, yes.
That's great. That's great. Well, first of all, thank you, Robin. It's delightful to be here, and it's delightful to do this with you since we've done many other things as friends together and so forth. It's so sweet for you to invite me to be part of this. This, what seems like, I watched just very briefly a few of your past videos, like a few moments, and it has seemed like this has been an extraordinary experience for people with really extraordinary presenters, and so I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be with all of you. I don't know what we're going to do today, and that's on purpose because I like to experience the moment, and what the moment is requesting from me, from you. As we come into an entanglement with each other, that your intention to be here and my intention to be here with you is at this moment energetically coming into a cooperation and an alignment with one another. As that happens, if we allow the presence of that moment to guide us, then my point of view will be taken to wherever it is that we as a group need to go to be present for everyone, for every single one of us. So maybe I'll say something about me. Should I say something? You said say something about you. Maybe I should say something about me. Okay. So let's see. I'm Robin's friend. That's who I am. Who are you? And you know, that question is like when somebody says, like, say something about yourself. It's like, what would you say? Who you are? Like, what is it that you define and identify yourself as? And what if you didn't have to define and identify yourself as the things you've identified and defined yourself as before? What would happen? What space would open up if you didn't carry with you the limitations and constrictions of your definitions of yourself? So from my point of view, it's the definitions that we have of ourselves that inform, contain, and constrain all of our life awareness, expression, and connection. So, you know, like, who am I? In this world, I'm the Irish kid born on the wrong side of the tracks, right? I mean, so that's a definition. And I've played with that definition in my life, right? I grew up in an Irish immigrant ghetto where the only people I ever knew until I was about 12 were Irish immigrants. And families of, you know, 10 or 12 kids on my right, 10 or 12 kids on my left. And that's a definition, that's an identification. And so what does that do? What does that definition do for me? How does it serve me? How does it limit me? And so one of the questions I'm going to ask you today is, what definitions, identifications are you carrying that both serve you and or limit you? And could we play with today, expanding those to have other definitions, other identifications, which might serve you better and allow you to move and shift in ways you've never moved and shifted before? What if that was the invitation to all of us today at this time in the world where there's so much going on and so much definition going on? You know, there's many, many ways that we can look at what's taking place in the country, what's taking place in the world. But one of the ways we can look at it is how we're all defining ourselves or allowing ourselves to be defined by whatever is going on. And what if it were possible for you to define yourself in greater ways than you ever have before, so that you don't have to live with the definitions that are given to you, either from your past or your present. So that's going to be my invitation to myself and to you today, is that in this short amount of time today, that something could open up for you that would give you more availability to you as a possibility. Let me start with some just...
Charlie, before you, as you're tuning in there, I want to alert everyone to the chat, because to actually either, I mean, you don't have to share in the chat, that's optional, but you're asking a really good question as the starting point, which is, how do we define ourselves? And I'm really glad you brought it actually to, you know, what's happening right now, because it's so important as definitions are being really illuminated, I guess is the word. Andrew put a comment, but anyway, I'm just encouraging people to put comments in the chat, or just to consider, you know, really taking in that question of how you define yourself as Charlie continues. Go ahead. Yeah.
And along with that, I'm going to be throwing out some ideas that are, you know, from my point of view, whatever. And I invite you to play with them and use them as you wish and throw them away as you wish. Like what serves you, if you pay attention to yourself, you will know what serves you and what does not serve you. Not only by me, but what anybody else says in this world. Like always check to see whether this serves you or does not serve you. And I'm going to give you a handy tool to be able to determine in your life what serves you and what doesn't serve you. What if you had a tool in your life that you could always know what's best for you in any circumstance, in any situation in your whole life? Here it is. This is the little nifty tool. If it makes you feel lighter and brighter in any way, it serves you, it's for you. If it makes you heavier, more constricted, it is not serving you. Another way I like to say that is, what makes you feel lighter and brighter is true for you. What makes you feel heavier is a lie for you. And that may be totally different from the next person next to you. But what makes you feel lighter and brighter, what makes you feel a little bigger and a little more expanded, is what serves you. So even when I'm suggesting things or playing with things and invite you to play with something, check that out. Does this make me feel a little lighter, a little more open, maybe even a lot more open? Does this make me feel heavier, more constrained, more constricted? And what if you could use that in anything you do, in any decision you have to make? Like if you have a decision before you, like, should I do this or should I do that? Should I marry this person? Should I run like hell? You know, check your body. Ask your body, does this make me feel lighter or heavier? And use that as a guide. And what if you use that as a guide in your life going forward? For the things that made you lighter, you always move to the lighter, to the thing that gave you more space, that gave you more expanse, gave you more of you. And you moved away from the things that gave you less of you, made you feel tighter, more heavy, more constricted. And in a place where, in my experience, when I move personally to a place of more expanse and more lightness, I serve from that place in a greater way. I'm much more available to other people. And when I move towards the heavier, the weightier, the more constricted, I am more reactive in the world. I'm less available as a service agent in the world. So some people say, well, I don't want to move to light and bright because, maybe I'll just be a polyandry kind of person and so forth. Actually, if your intention is to serve others, that's not what happens. That's a myth that somebody told you somewhere. Because when you move towards the lightness and the brightness and more space for you, and you have an intention to serve others, you serve from a much greater capacity. You're much more available and you're less reactive to others. Another thing I want us to play with today is that the conditions in your life do not determine your consciousness. The conditions in your life reveal your consciousness. Conditions reveal consciousness. They do not determine consciousness. And what if you could live that way? That any condition you find yourself, the world condition, a relationship, a job, whatever, that the conditions in your life is revealing what you're holding. The amount of space that you are giving to yourself. It is not determining your consciousness. So for instance, soldiers in battle are trained this. Their consciousness is trained for how to be in battle. And their consciousness is revealed when that happens. How much training did they take in, and how much were they able to hold the consciousness in that? There is some really interesting studies, for instance, looking at the training of soldiers before they went into combat about whether they had self-compassion training or not. And if they took groups of people, groups of soldiers, and gave them self-compassion training and tracked them next to people who did not have that training in the exact same battle conditions. And afterwards, the amount of trauma that they experienced was much lighter for the people who had self-compassion training than the people who did not. That's profound. That in the heat of battle, their consciousness, what they were able to do in their consciousness, determined how they experienced trauma. So again, the conditions reveal our consciousness. They do not determine our consciousness.
So I'm guessing there's some people wondering what you mean by consciousness. And that's actually really interesting, that study on self-compassion. It also makes me think about what's happening today, because there's a lot of combat.
Absolutely. There's combat by just watching television.
Right, that's true.
There's combat in a relationship. If you're in a relationship, you're in a combat zone.
You can be, yeah.
Because there's no place like intimacy, right? That word in, to, me, see.
Right.
And to myself, I see my consciousness all the time, right? I'm seeing what I'm holding inside myself. So consciousness is whatever is coming into your awareness. That can be the entire range of human experience.
Thoughts, feelings,
sensations,
emotions.
Pain, joy, freedom, restriction, stomach aches, migraines, whatever's coming into your consciousness is part of your consciousness.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because like the conditions in our life right now are that we're experiencing a pandemic, and now we're experiencing riots and protests and all of that that's happening right now intensely. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just,
What would you like to say about that or ask about that or wonder about that?
well, I just want to bring it to that because it's so present, you know, and it is revealing. It's revealing, as you said, it's revealing and I mean, this whole time I've been talking about how the pandemic illuminates what's already inside us. You know, like it just, and now we're in this big magnifying glass. And it's been 10 weeks. And in the beginning, it was like really heightened. It was, you know, the energy was really heightened. And it was like everything was under this big magnifying glass. And now it feels like, in a way, not that it's not still heightened in the pandemic, but it's like the energy as the energy moves towards, well, are we going to open up and whatever, and now all of a sudden this other big explosion is happening. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just thinking about it. It's like it's not time to be complacent, and so we need another big explosion to keep people on that edge of waking up and being aware of what their consciousness is revealing. To bring
Well,
up
I want to question that first of all. When you say
I don't
it's
know.
not time to be complacent, I don't know that there's ever a time not to be a something. And I don't want to have that for myself, a restriction that I have to be. That would be a requirement from the outside, maybe not a requirement from myself. There may be somebody who would like to be complacent right now.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
And that's fine for them. I don't want to require that me or anybody has to be something because this is the time that we have to be a something.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to each of us is, what's your intention? What do you want to have in your consciousness? That's a choice in your life as a life intention or by moment. What is it that you would like to be able to be? Because you can't find it unless you ask for it. So right now I'm going to invite everybody to say, how would you like to be if you could be anything you wanted to be? Anything. Like, throw the limits out the window. Throw your entire life and what it's told you outside your walls at the moment. In fact, let's do an exercise. Close your eyes for a moment. And take a moment to just receive of the breath. Don't take in a breath, just receive of it. Taking in a breath is grabbing it. Just allow it to come however it wants to come. And relax it back out and receive of the next breath. And just allow yourself to be breathed. Because your breathing goes on while you sleep. It would go on if you were in a coma. It knows exactly how much or how little. And give up for a moment, sacrifice your controlling your breath. And just let yourself receive. And notice that that gives you a little bit of relaxation, a little more space, just by receiving. Allow the receiving to be a way of loving yourself in the moment. And now I'm going to invite you to drop all the walls and barriers in your life. You're safe. You're in a safe place right now, wherever room you are in the world. And just for a moment, allow yourself to put down your walls and barriers that all of us carry around in order to protect ourselves. And you do this just by intention, by willingness, just to relax the walls and barriers a little bit. Give yourself some more space, space to be you. So you can experience a little bit more of you, space for you. And in this space, in a greater space, if you could have anything you wanted, anything at all, for you, what might it be? More joy, more happiness, more freedom, more compassion for yourself, for others, more money. Anything at all. Unlimited, doesn't have to be practical. And imagine for a moment that you could step into that and you were to have that now, more of it. Even just a little bit. Allow yourself to experience what it'd be like to have more of that. And invite you to feel the energy of it. Like, what is it like to have some of that now? Get a sense of the energy of that. What it feels like in your body, in your being. And notice that the energy is different than the experience of it. The experience would be limited to it'd be this or that, but the energy itself is what you're after. The experience of that energy. And now invite the universe to give you more of that. Welcome more of that energy coming to you in your life. It's just simply to ask the universe to give to you more and more of that in every day coming forward. That you don't even have to have a clue how that's going to come to you. But invite not the thing, but the energy of the thing to come to you more and more. And then gently you can start to come back, present with your eyes open when you're ready.
Hard to come back from that.
Yeah. So I don't know who all the presenters were before today, but I don't know how many people talk much about what we're learning about the quantum field these days or whatever. But that would be a whole other thing. It would be a whole other hour, suppose. But what we're learning is that our science starts to reflect our consciousness. And so now our science is beginning to discover so much about what we have been knowing spiritually for a long time. And now science, in what is known as quantum physics, now has scientific evidence, not just theorems, but experiments that proves that everything is connected to everything. That every proton in the universe is connected to every other proton. That there's no such thing as separation. That what we perceive as this is over here and this is over here is actually only an effect of consciousness, meaning we see it that way. But how we see it determines how it appears. But actually, the way it is when we're not looking at it is that everything is connected to everything, and that this quantum field carries all the information of all of us. That it's intelligent, that it knows us, because it's actually us. It's us in our beingness, not in our personalities or our emotions, but in who we are as beings. And that larger self, and you can call the larger self many things. You can call it the quantum field. You can call it your higher self. You can call it self-energy. You can call it God. You can call it whatever you like to call it. But that has your back. And that you can learn to be in communication with it, in communion with it, like we just did. We just had a communion that our intentions for what we wanted and the energy of it was in communion with the larger. That who we are is both the ocean and the drop in the ocean. I guess each individuals, we are the drop in the ocean, and we also are part of the ocean. And that as a drop in the ocean, we can invite the entire ocean that we are part of to give back to us in far greater ways than we ever thought possible. And you just did that. What you did was that you went into that field, and the way you enter the field is through your ask and through energy. Because we don't get in life what we want, we get what we resonate to. So when you go in there, I didn't ask you for just what you wanted, I asked you what the energy is of that. And then start to be it, be that energy, feel it, experience it in your body. And then you're starting to resonate with that. And when you resonate with that which you be, like let's say what you wanted was a great relationship. And you go in and you don't ask for a great relationship. You go into that field and you be it for a moment. In there, you are resonating with that. You are being it. And when you be it, you can call that forward from the universe to give you more of that. and it just starts to come to you. You ask and receive. It's a simple ask and receive because you're being it. Another way to say this is the shortest distance between where you are now and where you want to be is what you're resonating to now and what you want to resonate to. Another way to say that is the shortest distance between where you are now and where you want to be is what you feel now and what you want to feel. And if you move into that and start resonating with it, you feel it. You sense the energy of what it is that you're looking for. And you actually start being that in the moment. Then the universe conforms to that. It has to pull the objects, the conditions, to your resonation of who you're being. I don't know, that was a lot to put out in a short amount of time. And I'm just curious about questions, wonderings, thoughts from you, Robin, or from anybody in the whole group.
It was great. I could share something, but I don't have to. It's just my own experience from the last couple of days that relates to this. But I would honestly love to hear from somebody, anybody else. Andrew, you wrote something. I don't know if you have something to say, or Mitchell, Vlad.
Sure.
Your experience of the meditation and what Charlie just said about we don't, that's a great line and truth. We don't get what we want in life. We get what we resonate with. And yeah, thanks, Emily. Yeah. And it's such a big teaching, big truth. I guess I'll just share briefly. And when I share this, I'm not saying that I have like this all power over my son, but something interesting did happen in the last couple of days. And then Andrew, yes, please jump in. Some of you have been hearing a little bit about it, and he's not been feeling well for a while, several weeks during this pandemic, maybe 8 weeks now or something. But about 4 days ago, I somehow dropped into this awareness that you're talking about the words weren't new. I was listening to something and it wasn't anything new, but it was like a part of my own being resonated with it in a different way than before. And all of a sudden I really saw him and felt him healthy and whole, which of course he is, but it's been hard as a mother and seeing my son ailing and not feeling well and in pain and all the emotions attached to that. And I've been working on, keeping my energy with myself. And, but I started just completely seeing him like really well and healthy and fine. And last night he texted me and he said, 4 days, no fever. And it's been 4 days since I had this shift in consciousness or whatever happened in that moment. I'm not saying I have power over his body and his healing at all. I can't help but notice some synchronicity around that. And the energy of mother and child, we're always we're in each other's energetic fields. It's the way it is. So anyway, that was pretty amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And the resonance in my body is really the most powerful thing that I'm aware of. Yes, definitely, Emily, because I feel him healthy now in my body. I feel him healthy, which is different than what I was experiencing before, as Charlie knows. So Andrew, and let's hear from Andrew.
Yeah. So I just said in the chat that I thought that experience was very powerful, that I can still feel when I make that shift into feeling the energy of it, of finding that context and then feeling the energy of it. Yeah, and it relates back to that sweet little tool you gave us too. This, going towards the light and stuff. That's exactly the feeling, right? I know that this is my truth because I'm feeling that lightness and that smile. So it's so I just wanted to thank you for that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Who else would like to share an experience of just this whole time together, the last almost hour? What you've experienced, or an aha moment, something that came to you as I'm going to take this with me. Amy put something in the chat that I also really resonate with. I think everything we want is all already out there in the universe. When we start to resonate, as Charlie said, then we can finally begin to see it resonate more and more and experience it. Yes.
So I'll just add a piece to that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, even like confusions, questions, like, this is big stuff. And, there might be like, what kind of parts present as well, which I completely welcome. And I know Charlie does. Vlad says, I caught a glimpse of how I want to feel. Nice. Maybe if I spend more time tuning into that energy daily, I'll see more of it. Would you like to share, Vlad? Like unmute and share. Can take that as a no, but yes. Yes, of course it's okay if you don't. I was just welcoming you if you wanted to. Here's a question from Bridget. What do you do when you struggle to tune into that energy daily? Yeah, really good question.
Great question. So my point of view about that is that the things we struggle with are not us. That's a big statement. So the thing we call us is often those definitions and identifications that we have been given from the day we were born. And what you struggle with is often been implanted in you. Meaning that somebody had that belief about themselves or about you or about people in general. And so when I have a thing that I struggle with, so for instance, in my life, don't you all have something in life that you do really easily? You don't struggle with? Just that you do it easily. Like you cook easily, or like you've always been good at exercise. It's easy for you. Or you have know-how in how to fix something. Just things that come easy to you and things that come hard to you. Things you struggle with. And they become definitions and identifications. Like, this is who I am. What if it's not? What if you could loosen and give yourself more space, and those definitions are not you? And so the thing that you struggle with, like, I have a definition and an identification inside my head that I don't do visualizations well. I personally, Charlie, have that. I've always had When I go to a workshop and they say, no, visualize, but I don't know how to visualize. Other people can visualize. I can't visualize. You know, I have that as a limitation on myself that I don't visualize well. Wait a minute. Where did that come from? All right. So I'm going to give you another nifty tool that you can take with you at the end of our time today. And it is this. Whenever you come up with a limitation, a heaviness, a constriction in your life, ask the following question. Who does this belong to? Return to sender. And say it over and over, up to 20 times. And then see how you approach that something. Like, what if the most of your struggles and limitations in your life are actually things and definitions that were made for you or absorbed in by you that are actually limiting beliefs about you? And what if there were an easy way to let go of those and give yourself more possibilities, more availability, more space? Well, maybe that's somebody else's struggle that I born into, that I sort of like, maybe it's my mother's father's struggle or whatever, that I just kind of absorbed into as a belief about myself. And what if I could easily let that go by just saying, who does that belong to? Return to sender. Who does that belong to? Return to sender. Who does that belong to? What if it's not mine? Who does that belong to? And if you start playing with that tool, it will open up, and this I will guarantee you. I can say that like it's a crazy thing to say, but I'm going to say it. I guarantee you, if you play with that tool regularly and consistently for the next 2 weeks, every day, you'll have a different life. You'll have a different consciousness. I'm going to guarantee that. If you play with that tool every day with things that you find heavy or limiting or struggling in your life, just okay, I will. Who does this belong to? Return to sender. Sure, tapping helps too. But I found, I actually was one of the early pioneers of the tapping movement. But tapping does not work as powerfully as this, although it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. Who does this belong to? Return to sender. Who does this belong to? I'll repeat it again. Who does this belong to you? Return to sender. And somebody just asked a great question. What if this is yours? What if it is yours? Okay? 3 things about that. One is, you won't know until after you do it, whether it's yours or not. Secondly, my experience is that 90% of what I thought was mine isn't mine. It's far greater than I thought. And the things that is mine actually are much easier to deal with when I let go of the things that aren't. So for instance, what if a struggle around something is 18% yours and whatever the rest of that is, 72%, 82% other people's, the world's, and whatever. When you size it down to the 17, 18% that's yours, it's much easier to deal with. Just releasing yourself from the definitions and the identifications that have been implanted on you since you're born, that you carry around as just the there-ness of you. Like, I am a this, I am this way. What if you're not? And what if you gave that space to you to open that up and then you experience the world. Anyway, play with it and see. Have fun.
Wow. What a powerful note to end on. A 2-week challenge and a 2-week guarantee. I love it. I love it.
And I will make this offer. If you do it every day on something, every day now, consistently, like whenever it comes up, and you do that for 2 weeks and you don't experience that change, call me and I will help you change that thing. That's my offer.
That's powerful.
I promise you that I will work with you at no charge in a session to change that thing. If you work on this for 2 weeks and say that phrase every day on that thing and you don't experience any shift, it's on me.
Awesome. That's great. Oh my gosh. Okay. I know we're at 10 a.m., but so become aware of a limiting belief or a definition of yourself. And that's where you start.
That's where you start.
Yep. Praveen says, Charlie, I count you on that. Yep. Please do. Yep. It's a big offering, Mitchell. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Well, I look forward to hearing what happens in 2 weeks, not only for myself, but for everybody here.
Can I make a plug for myself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think you just did, but yes.
Okay. No, I mean, specifically is that I do run groups on this stuff. I run groups on this stuff, and I will be starting brand new groups in September. And if anybody wants to join the groups, you can contact me and let me know you're interested. And we play with this stuff every week. And so.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you for that. I will be sending your contact info out, so that'll be the best way to find out more information about those groups and about you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. You'll tell me exactly how you want people to reach you.
Sure.
Whether it's email or phone or mailing list or whatever. Yeah, thank you for that. Yes. Play with it. Yeah. So just a few sweet comments in the chat. Wow, Charlie. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Yep. Bridget says, thank you. Talk to you in 2 weeks. Yeah, I want to hear. I want to hear it, and I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, but don't start off with the limiting belief that you can't do it. And so you're going to end up talking to me.
Right. Exactly.
That's self-defeating yourself. Like, like that would be defeating yourself. Like, take it on as a possibility, as a real possibility for you that, oh, what if this were true? What if this nutty thing that he's saying and this like silly technique that he's offering could change my life? Like, really open that up as a possibility for yourself. Really play with it. Like, write it down, stick it on like your sticky note or something on your hand or something, and really use it. Like, really, really, really use it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, great. You've given us a lot to think about. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been really delightful to be with you, Robin, and with all these delightful people who I don't know personally, but I have actually felt their energy. And
yeah,
you're doing an amazing thing. You're doing an amazing thing. And thank you, Robin, for doing this and for all that you do in the world. You are definitely a contribution to all of us and to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody, lots of love. We'll see you next week. It's another amazing presenter, extraordinary presenter, David Waldis, who taught me something that I use every day to tune out the energy that I'm taking in too much of and the chaos and bring myself back to my own heart. So I'm looking forward to him being here. And I'll just see you all next week, and blessings on your day and good luck. And let's see, not good luck, just like light and love to this, this new practice. Lots of love, everybody. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.